Christmas was just a few days ago, and the weird year that was 2025 is finally coming to an end, and I really wanted to finish it on a good note this time. So I think it's time for me to share with you my favorite cosplay memory of 2025. So in early September, Capcom France announced that they will be at Paris Games Week for the very last week of October. And just a few days or weeks later, they also announced a very special event, the Monster Hunter Cosplay Gala. And every cosplayer could just submit a request and participate to the event. We both are really big Monster Hunter fans with my boyfriend, but it was my boyfriend's dream in forever to own and create a Monster Hunter armor, so it was the perfect occasion, right? Now keep in mind that at this moment of making the decision, we're mid to end September and the event is on the 1st of November. Oh, and this is the armor that he dreams of having. And the sword too. Yup. Anyway, hi, I'm Maddie, and this is the story of how I built a Monster Hunter armor and prop in just a month, and that became one of my favorite cosplay memories ever. So originally, I really wanted to film and document the entire process of making the prop and armor, and I started filming a few things back in May. Because yes, we had this project in mind before the announcement of the Cosplay Gala, and we just thought we would take our time and slowly work on it, and maybe finish it for Japan Expo in July 2026. But with the announcement of the gala, we were just so excited and hyped that we thought it was the perfect occasion to make it happen earlier than what we thought. But I have to warn you though, if you expected a step-by-step tutorial on how I build the entire costume and prop, it's not going to be the case. I really wanted it to happen before, but I just really didn't have the time at all. I was such in a rush. I have very few photos and videos of the backstage, technically. And keep in mind that even though I've been a cosplayer for almost 10 years, it's the first time I'm ever making a complete armor. I've never done such a big prop. The sword I think is 1 meter and 80 centimeters long, and I don't know the weight, but it's heavy. Also, I'm not making the costume for myself, and my boyfriend was working, so I couldn't always check the measurement with him. So it was a little complicated. And I just had a teeny tiny month to finish the costume on time. I really don't know why I did that to myself. Hopefully I already had a lot of materials at home, like the foam, the warbler, the PVC pipe for the sword, and the basic tools like box cutter, everything. But I still had to make 2 separate orders on cosplayshop.be. This is not sponsored, by the way, and I just wanted to thank them because they really saved my crafting. I did not organize myself well, and because I was such in a rush, I don't think I realized how big the project actually was. I was just so hyped about making a cool armor for my man. Funny thing is that we actually started working on the leg armor, the first thing that we made. I think it was back in like April or May or something like this, because I wanted to show like the basics of working with foam to my boyfriend, and this part of the armor seemed pretty easy to work on. We didn't finish it, we just built the base, and I also wanted to start working on the sword because I realized how big it was going to be in size and in terms of work on it to do. And this is the only actual footage I have of like me crafting something. So let's just enjoy that. So back to September, the first thing I started building was the slinger. For this one, because I didn't want to spend too much time on figuring out how to make everything, I bought pre-made patterns and instructions directly on Etsy to make that little thing. Oh, and I forgot to mention, by the way, but we were both going to the cosplay gala, and I was also going in cosplay, so I wore Alma from Monster Hunter Wilds, because the version of the armor, of the Rathalos armor my boyfriend is doing, is the version from Wilds. I bought the costume secondhand on Vinted, but I still had to style the wig and make some of her accessories, like her book, for example. So I did that really fast on the side, because even though it wasn't like necessary for the costume, I still wanted to have a little prop to pose for pictures and everything, and it really helped, so I did that also on the side. The first time I actually felt released was when I finished a pretty big part of the entire leg armor of the costume, because to apply to the gala we had to send pictures of the costume, and none of it was done except for this part, so I wanted to at least show a finished piece of what I could do, and they kindly accepted the request, but I really wanted to finish this part really fast. And we finally had, you know, the vision when we saw this part done, and I was like, oh my god, I think I've done half of it. No, no, not at all. I think that's like 30%. One of the main challenges of the Rathalos armor is the scales everywhere on the costume. I did some quick calculations, and I think there are between 4,000 and 5,000 scales on the costume and the sword, and I would say 80% of these are handmade, like cut, heat shaped, added the texture with a Dremel, and then glued, primed, and painted. Some of them were pre-cut scales that I got from Cosplay Shop B, and that saved my life. For example, this is the piece of the armor that goes in the back. So these are handmade scales. Like, I had to cut them, heat shape them to have this little pointy thing here. Then added the texture. Then after, when everything was glued, I added like the battle damage. But I think just on this tiny piece, there's around 50 scales, I would say. So these were, like, I cut them out of foam and everything. And to show you the difference, on this is like the elbow armor piece. These ones are pre-cut scales, but I still had to add the texture to them, shape them a little bit, and then like glue them on it. So the only time that I saved with these is just not had to like draw them on foam and then cut them and eventually send them. It still took forever. The last 2 weeks before the event were a real nightmare. I couldn't, like, my body wasn't following the rhythm. I was working at least 10 hours a day, crafting nonstop. My only breaks were to walk my dog, eat, and eventually sleep at the end of the day. My neck and my back was hurting so much, but I was so close, you know, to finishing the project, so I just didn't want to stop. But we realized, like, the last week, we realized that we had to make some adjustments and modification to the costume in order to make it happen. So, for example, the armor is supposed to have big shoulder pads with spikes and more scales. I couldn't do that. I just didn't have the time to do that at all. So we decided not to add them and find a way to attach them later on the costume. Same for the breastplate. The scales are supposed to be way smaller, but just to save time, I made them bigger to really just save time. And I said it before, but I really lacked of organization and realization on how huge this project was. I really should have started the project by the main pieces of the armor, like the chest plate and whatever. And for some reason, I started making the smaller stuff first. And one of the most stressful moments was when I ran out of contact cement. So the glue that I use 24 hours before due date, and the chest plate wasn't finished. So I had to call my dad in emergency and ask him if he could go and find some glue at the craft store. My poor dad. But thanks to him, I was able to finish on time. So if you're seeing this, and I know that you are, thank you. I'm sorry. And just here are some pictures and videos, the very few that I have of the crafting process. That was so chaotic at the end, and my favorite photo and video is this one of my boyfriend and I at 2 a.m. the day of the convention, drying the paint on the sword. Yeah, that was fun. But so far, it doesn't sound like the best cosplay memory ever, does it? This part was already long, I'm sorry. So I really want to tell you more about the event, because this really was the best thing ever. We had such a good time with my boyfriend. We were super excited to go to the event, first of all, and everything went so perfectly and smoothly. The Capcom team was so nice and welcoming. We met all the other cosplayers there that were just incredible and so nice. And the main thing that made this event very special is that for the first time ever for my boyfriend and I, even though I've been cosplaying for years, we went on stage together in front of thousands of people, and it was also filmed for Twitch Live, which was just incredible.
Nous allons avoir, attention, un nouveau binôme de chic de choc à l'écran. Regardez et appréciez, ils arrivent.
On va accueillir Princesse Patate et Twizy.
Et voilà, regardez, superbe. Allez, on prend la pause, les amis.
On a donc Alma avec du Ratalo juste à côté, qui sont partis en track, l'assistante plus le hunter.
Ouais, c'est beau.
C'est incroyable.
Ouais.
C'est incroyable.
Les deux font la paire.
Ah bah oui, bien sûr. Non, il est très très beau aussi, le cosplay d'Alma, il est très joli. Bien
allez,
joué.
Attention, une autre petite pause, voilà, pour les photos.
La grande épée, c'est pareil, qui est encore plus grand que son propriétaire, en mode blocage.
Ouais, en mode blocage,
elle est belle,
exactement.
Elle est belle aussi.
Elle est en train de effectivement parcourir son manuscrit.
C'est ça. Les pages jaunes.
Mais son petit bottin. Alors, vous en allez pas, hein, les copains
Bah attendez, vous allez où comme ça?
Alors, pareil, personnage emblématique. Pourquoi ce choix? Qu'est-ce qui t'a inspiré? Quelle était l'envie un petit peu derrière cette, voilà, cette prestation?
Moi, je suis la crafteuse des deux.
Ah!
Et pendant que monsieur jouait à Monster Hunter, j'ai
bon,
fabriqué l'armure et l'épée.
Oh là
et du
là
coup,
là
je
là.
me suis dit, je n'ai pas le temps de me faire une propre armure, mais quoi de mieux qu'Alma pour accompagner son chasseur?
Bon, c'est beau, et on peut applaudir. Alors ça, c'est extraordinaire, c'est merveilleux. Ça, c'est une histoire qu'on aime. Et voilà. En virtuel, en réel, main dans la main, pour faire, voilà, parcourir l'épopée de la vie. Oh, c'est beau, ça, c'est beau.
Une belle aventure à deux.
Eh ben, ça, c'est beau. C'est vraiment que du bonheur, que du plaisir. Écoute, on va laisser quand même un petit mot à monsieur également. Bon, bah là, écoute, tu as trouvé, je crois, le meilleur allié possible, non?
Ah bah, on peut pas trouver mieux.
Voilà, bah ça, c'est beau. Voilà, c'est une belle
c'est le
image.
binôme parfait.
Allez, on peut les applaudir,
Oh.
le duo parfait. C'est que de l'amour, c'est que du bonheur et c'est tout ce qu'on aime ici, bien évidemment, les amis. Merci pour votre venue. Attention, pareil, ne tombez pas. Faites bien le petit tour. Oh, mais c'est des histoires de fou, ça, j'adore.
C'est Mimi, hein.
Ouais, c'est génial, c'est génial.
On les trouve
Mais
où,
c'est ça,
It was a bit stressful at first, but you can see that we did have a lovely time on stage. Everyone was so nice and respectful, and they seemed to like our cosplay too, so it was really, really cool. So after that, we just spend our day enjoying the booth, enjoying the beautiful immersive decorations, taking photos with the other cosplayers, meeting the artists that worked there. We got to also see the live performance of the real voice of the diva. That was so cool. She was so kind. And the day really ended perfectly because even though we didn't have the chance to meet them and talk with them, the Capcom team helped us to get our prop signed by Ryozo Tsujimoto, so the producer of the Monster Hunter series, and Yuya Tokuda, the director of Monster Hunter Wilds, which was insane. We saw them at a moment, we waved at them, and we thanked them for signing our props. That was just insane, really. And here is how this intense cosplay crafting rush led me to one of my favorite cosplay memories of 2025. It was just a wonderful experience, and being able to share this with my loved one made it even more special to me. Even though the crafting process was tiring, I also learned a lot about organization and actually taking time to realize how big a project can be. I will never do this again. My body couldn't really. I'm getting way too old for this, I'm telling you. But if I organize myself better, I think I might make myself a Monster Hunter armor just for myself one day, so we'll see. So I hope you enjoyed this little story. I'm sorry again if you expected more crafting process. I hope you still enjoyed the video, and if you have any questions about the crafting process and everything, first of all, there's a pinned story on my Instagram page with probably more progress photos in there. You can just send me a DM if you have a question, or you can just ask me in the comment. So it can either be just through DM, or I could answer your question showcasing the armor piece and make it maybe like a YouTube short so I can explain some of the things that I did for the craft or the paint process, for example. So feel free to ask if you have any questions. And I truly hope that I will have more amazing stories like this to tell in 2026. Thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next year. Bye!